British pro-Kurdish activists lash out at Facebook. They accuse the social media giant of censoring their posts that criticise the Turkish government.
They came out, handcuffed me, took me inside, they put me in the cell.
Victims of a US terror watch list take legal action against the humiliating treatment that they claim it subjected them to. And an Occupy-style movement in France is drawing thousands of supporters, with activists even launching their own media channels to promote their demands. Thanks for joining us this hour. My name's Neil Harvey and you're watching RT International. A group of British pro-Kurdish activists are outraged at the actions of Facebook. They claim that the social media giant has been censoring their posts that were in support of Kurds in Turkey.
We were posting about the ongoing repression of the Turkish left and Kurdish people. And our posts were removed from Facebook and my account was suspended. In one case, I posted a famous mural in Bologna, which depicts a Kurdish woman, and it just says in Italian, "Kobani resists." And this image of this mural was deemed to counteract Facebook's community standards. It prevents or bans, prohibits anything relating to the Kurdish struggle, essentially. So this is what we came up against with the Facebook censorship. This is obviously political censorship, and it isn't some kind of community standard moderation.
I discussed this earlier with RT's correspondent Nikki Aaron.
Facebook has confirmed that a number of posts have been deleted which violate its community standards. But the activists have said that their posts have been unfairly removed, that they don't breach these standards whatsoever. Now, Facebook's policy does state that posts will be removed if they pose a genuine risk of physical harm or direct threats to the public safety. So let's take a look at some of the posts that have been deleted. Now, the first one does appear to show a man flying the colours of the YPG. Now, the YPG is the People's Protection Units, which is the main armed service of the Kurdish Supreme Committee.
Like there, it did resemble it, wasn't it? It was the red star with the yellow background there.
Now, the second image, let's just take a look at this one. It clearly states, "Do not holiday in Turkey, as your money will be used to fund war crimes against the Kurds."
Yes.
That's right, that's this one.
I can kind of see the point there. You can see that, if not only for the reason that it could be damaging to tourism there, I can appreciate why the government certainly wouldn't like that.
Yeah, some people may find this offensive. I can see that too. Let's go straight to the third one now, which is actually a photograph. You could say that it's historically accurate, and it depicts the Nazi emblem next to the Turkish flag there.
Immediately you kind of think, OK, that's inappropriate, they're making the comparison with the Nazis, but then of course you've got the element that this is real. It was
Do you censor
an actual
history?
situation, it's just a photograph, isn't it? So in that context, I can't see any problem whatsoever with it.
Exactly. While we're looking at these
history,
exactly. While we're looking at these pictures, you need to bear in mind what Facebook's policy states. It says removed if they pose a genuine risk of physical harm or direct threats to the public safety. Moving on to the fourth one, it's an actual Facebook page set up called Stop War on Kurds. Now, this was also removed by Facebook. I personally don't find this offensive. It's a call to action. Some people support, some people don't. What do you think?
I think it's fairly straightforward. I mean, most people would say they would oppose war of any kind against anyone in the world, except possibly, perhaps, against Islamic State at the moment, but I can't think of any other exceptions.
The activists have been raising questions over these Facebook policies after these posts were removed. Now, a leaked document which was first published in 2012 by the US site Gawker provides a snapshot into Facebook's moderation policy. Now, the international compliance section of the document shows that there are specific rules when it comes to dealing with Turkey, including instructions for moderators to moderate any criticism of the first president of Turkey, as well as depictions of the Turkish flag being burnt. Now, it's worth noting that no other country has these restrictions in this document. So 5 out of 6 points in this document refer to Turkey. The only other one being Holocaust denial. Facebook has not denied that the document is genuine, but it has said that its details have been updated. Its policies may have been updated since then. This is something that one of the activists, Ari Murad, has also been questioning, understandably. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
This proves that the Turkish state is actively telling Facebook audiences all over the world that they can't post certain things, which they consider, you know, not applicable to their nation state. There are many terrorist organizations such as Al-Qaeda, and they're considered terrorist organization by the EU and the United States, and they aren't actively unpublished the same way the Kurdish rights groups are. I mean, the question should be, why is Turkey so powerful? How are they successful in creating this and creating so much media silence?
The inference here is that this is deliberate, and it's because of the relationship between the government and the Kurds, and it's something that we've reported on very widely here on RT. We've seen the physical evidence. We've had our correspondents on the ground witnessing the devastation caused by this government crackdown on the Kurds, and there have been lots of civilian casualties as well that we've witnessed. I mean, let's just get a recap of some of the activities.
Women and children lived here. Erdogan killed all of them with heavy artillery. He destroyed this home. They claim they're fighting terrorists, but where are the terrorists? All of the victims were civilians. 3, 4, maybe 500 people were killed.
Now, it's worth noting that the Turkish authorities maintain that their policy on the Kurdish regions is them targeting terrorist organisations and not civilians.
President Erdogan has a lasting love-hate relationship with social media. He's called it a menace to society and also promised to, quote, not leave his nation at the mercy of YouTube and Facebook. Even when he was Prime Minister, Erdogan threatened to ban social networks to prevent his opponents using them against him. He then blocked access to several social media outlets. The Turkish leader's relationship with Twitter in particular has taken quite a few turns. The child who was placed on the US terror watch list when they were just 7 months old is among 18 plaintiffs who filed lawsuits against the FBI's terrorist screening centre. The child in question is named Baby Doe in the documents. When he was due to take a flight, his boarding pass was stamped SSSS. It's a special mark for those listed as suspects. People finding their names on that list are then subjected to what they've described as humiliating treatment.
It was all really friendly, but then when he scanned my passport, I saw something red pop up on the screen. His attitude changed entirely after that. 4 cops on my left, 4 cops on my right, and I was like, you know, they pulled a formation on me. He proceeded to tell me that he knew I was a good American and that I wanted the best for America, pretty much asking me to be an informant overseas. So I said, you know, I'm just a broke college kid just trying to, you know, keep my head down, and I just want to, you know, focus on school and graduate and you know, live my life.
They came out, handcuffed me, took me inside, they put me in a cell. All I can remember is my hands were shaking, my legs were shaking, and I was freezing. I thought I was gonna die in there. That's my #1 fear. I was thinking of they would, you know, take my body and no one know how I died or stuff like that.
They went through my phone, they took out my memory chip. Basically, they're just using things I thought were cool at the time to try to lure me in to be an informant for them overseas. And I just wanted my name off the list. It made me feel scared, made me feel like an outsider. Actually, it made me feel like I'm being betrayed by my own country that I was born and raised in.
Well, it's fairly easy to get onto the terror watch list. It's almost impossible to get off it. So-called membership can mean extensive searches and detailed questioning, flying restrictions and even the closure of bank accounts without any notice. The lawyers of those taking legal action want the watch list to be recognised as unconstitutional and are seeking a major overhaul of the scheme.
What is important here is that there's a swelling group of Americans that are being segregated and profiled and being relegated as second-class citizens based on a process that is arbitrary, that is free from accountability and scrutiny.
Posts on social media, people you talk to, places you go, even the manner in which you walk. These are just some of the things that can mark you down as suspicious. Almost 500,000 people are now listed as possible terrorists. We spoke to attorney Ghadir Abbas, who's working with the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is part of the group that's taking legal action.
The United States is now engaged in conduct that is discriminatory, that violates our Constitution, and that disproportionately affects the Muslim community. The Oregon decision back in 2014 is an important and critical decision, and it was the first decision where a U.S. court found fault with the watch list. But that court only addressed the specific subset of the federal watch list called the no-fly list. Our class action, CARE Michigan's class action lawsuit, is aimed at the entirety of the federal watch list, whether that watch list prevents you from flying or whether it prevents you from opening a bank account, whether that watch list results in your extensive screening and being interrogated at the border, or whether that watch list prevents you from working as a baggage handler at the airport. That's the level of generality at which we're attacking the entirety of the federal watch list.